It's prediction time once again here on Football with Flags. Guys, Manny G back here with you as always. Today, it's the group stage of the AFC Asian Cup beginning in January of 2024. So sit back and join us as we take a look at these 6 groups and see which 16 teams we have moving on to the knockout stages. We'll get the ball rolling, of course, in Group A, and we'll start with Tajikistan, who have qualified for the first time ever. Obviously, with the expanded field, having now 16 teams into the knockout stages, provides a bit better of an opportunity for them to potentially make it out of this group. But for us, we only have them with a point out of their 3 group stage games and finishing in 4th. As for Lebanon, they were the 2000 hosts of this competition. They have 2 previous appearances, most recent in 2019. So the fact that they've made this tournament in back-to-back editions is an accomplishment in itself. But they've only won 1 out of the 6 games that they've appeared in during the Asian Cup. I think that will prove to be difficult. I do have them with 2 draws in the group stage as they finished 3rd. As for China PR, they're usually good for a run to the knockouts. They finished in the top 4 6 different times, and they've made the quarterfinals in 2015 and 2019. So some recent success for this group. I'd like them to finish 2nd with 5 points out of this table and definitely headed to the knockout stages once again. Moving on to Qatar, the defending champions, they defeated Iraq, South Korea, UAE, and Japan on their way to their first Asian Cup title back in 2019. They've only ever been to the quarterfinals twice before, but I do like this Qatar side to win this group. I think they'll have a hiccup at some point in the group with a draw, but still coming out on top with 7 points. We'll keep it moving in Group B, and we'll start off with India and Syria. India making their 5th appearance. They had a lot of success back in the 60s and early 70s, but they have not made the knockouts in 30, 40-plus years. They scored 4 goals in 2019, but they allowed 4 as well, obviously missing out on the knockout stages. They finished 17th overall in that tournament. I think it's going to be very tough for India to get out of this group. They do, I think, in my opinion, have a shot at 3rd place to possibly get out, and I really look at that matchup between them and Syria to end the group stage as a possibility if a winner comes out of that game to maybe still get into the knockout stages. For Syria, this is their 7th appearance. They've never reached the knockouts before. 2019 actually was the first time that they did not record at least 1 victory in the group stage. I think this side also could potentially benefit from 3 points if they're able to beat India and make it to the knockout stages. I do like Syria to beat India in that final group stage match to take 3rd, while India finishes 4th in this table. As for Uzbekistan, this is their 8th appearance. They first appeared in 1996. They were 4th in 2011, their best finish ever. They've made the knockout stages 5 straight tournaments. I'd like them to get back to the knockout stage. But for Australia, the 2015 champs, entered the competition in 2007 as they came over to face Asian competition. They've never finished below a quarterfinal run, and keep in mind, they knocked out Uzbekistan in the round of 16 in the 2019 tournament. I still like Australia to win this group with 7 points off of goal differential. I think, though, Uzbekistan gets a draw off of the Socceroos, but comfortably finishing 2nd. Group C for me seems a little top-heavy, and I'll tell you why. Palestine, with just their 3rd appearance ever, they've never qualified for the knockout stages. They made it in 2015 and in 2019, but they've never won a game in this competition thus far in their history. For Hong Kong, just their 4th appearance ever. They haven't qualified since 1968, so certainly happy to be back. But again, I would keep an eye on that last game of the group stage between Hong Kong and Palestine. If one of these 2 sides can win, I think it could go a long way in potentially making it out of the group as the 3rd place side. For Iran and UAE, 2 semifinalists in 2019. Iran had a lot of success back in the late 60s and 70s, and they have looked very strong as of late. This is their 15th appearance in this group. I think they run the table, they collect 9 points, and take the top spot here in Group C. For UAE, this is their 11th appearance, and again, another side that is very good and can make some quality deep runs in this competition. They beat Australia in the knockouts in 2019 and lost to the defending champions Qatar in their semifinal. I'd like UAE to come out of this group with 6 points in 2nd place. On to the second half of this field, and we'll start with Indonesia here in Group D. 5 previous appearances, never qualified for the knockout stages. They were suspended in 2019, but certainly happy to be back participating in this competition this time around. But it's going to be very difficult for them. Iraq were the champions in 2007. They've had a lot of good runs in the past. They got to the round of 16 in 2019 before getting bumped out by what would be then champions Qatar. I think Iraq have a very good shot to make it to the knockout stages once again. And for Vietnam, this is just the third time they've ever qualified for the Asian Cup, but they've made the quarterfinals in their previous two appearances in 2007 and in 2019. I think between those three groups, it's going to be a lot of fighting back and forth to see who gets that second and third place spot, with an opportunity for two to potentially go to the round of 16. But for this group, I think Japan flies away with it. They have 4 titles under their belt, most recently in 2011, which feels like a very long time. But keep in mind that their last title in 2011 was also in Qatar. I think Japan has been on a huge run as of late, in great form, playing some unbelievable competition and putting up some fantastic results. Japan comes out of this group first with 9 points. I think Iraq get a draw with Vietnam, but their goal differential is a bit better. They'll take second place. Vietnam is in third, and unfortunately for Indonesia, their streak of never hitting the knockouts will continue as they finish fourth. On to the next to last group, and we'll start with Malaysia, making just their 4th appearance ever, first since 2007. They've never qualified for the knockout stages, and I think it will be very difficult to do so this time around as well. A lot of good competition they'll see in this group. I think each of these 3 sides will get the best of Malaysia. That's why I have them finishing 4th with 0 points. For Jordan, first ever appearance was in 2004. They usually make the knockout stages in this competition. They did so in 2019 as well, losing to Vietnam in the round of 16 in a shootout. I think they're definitely eager to get back, with the possibility of getting out of this group and getting another chance at a game like that. For Bahrain, they finished 4th in 2004, and they also made the knockouts in 2019. Keep in mind they lost to South Korea 2-1 in their first knockout stage game, so they're eager to get back and face the South Koreans in this group stage to hopefully get some revenge. But for South Korea, a side that have only missed the knockouts once ever in their 14 appearances, they made it to the quarterfinals in 2019. They were also a part of that path that Qatar ran through to go on and win the title. I think Korea are another team that are very dangerous in this competition, could make a very deep run and have a good possibility of, at least in my opinion, getting to the quarterfinal, if certainly not better. Hopefully maybe a semifinal or final as well. I do have Korea winning this group. I think they'll finish with 7 points at the top of the table. But for Jordan and Bahrain, very tight. I think these two sides will wind up drawing against one another in that final group stage game. But I do believe it will be enough for both of these sides to potentially still get out of the group as well. I have Bahrain finishing second with 5 points, and the biggest difference is I have them getting a draw against South Korea in that opening game of the group to finish with 5 points. Meanwhile, Jordan will finish with 4 in third. On to the last group, Group F, and we'll start with Saudi Arabia, 3-time champions, most recent, though, of 1996. They haven't gotten past the quarterfinals since 2007. We obviously saw the big win they had over Argentina in the group stage of the World Cup last year. I think Saudi Arabia are pretty much a shoe-in to at least get to a quarterfinal. In my opinion, it's just a matter of, can they get over that next step in the bracket portion of this tournament to get to another semifinal. We'll have to wait and see, but I do like Saudi Arabia to win this group with 9 points. I think from there, though, it's going to be really interesting to see how this thing pans out, as each of the other 3 teams, Thailand, Kyrgyzstan, and Oman, all made the round of 16 in 2019, so we'll have to wait and see. But for Thailand, their best ever finish was 3rd in 1972. When they did make it to the round of 16 in the last edition, they lost to China. For Kyrgyzstan, their first appearance ever was in 2019, and they lost in extra time to United Arab Emirates. As for Oman, this is their 5th ever appearance, and they lost 2-1 to Iran. So again, I think for all of these sides, it's going to be a lot of back and forth. Some very interesting fixtures to see who can come out at least in second place to automatically advance, but could there potentially be a third place team to advance as well? I do like Kyrgyzstan to come out in second place based off goal differential with 4 points, and I have Oman finishing third. And unfortunately for Thailand, down at the bottom in fourth, not going to be able to make it back to another round of 16. So with all of that and our predictions, there are the 12 that we have automatically advancing, finishing either 1 or 2 in their group respectively. And then the 4 third-place teams we have advancing are Jordan, Oman, Vietnam, and Syria. Now, Palestine just missing out. They had the same number of points in our predictions as Syria, but we believe through goal differential or other tiebreakers down the line that Syria will get the job done to take that last spot. And unfortunately for Lebanon, 2 points in their group, but not enough to advance. Guys, as always, thanks again so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And please let us know down in the comments your own predictions for this group stage, what you've got, who you're rooting for in this competition. And don't forget, again, we've got a round of 16 predictions coming up for this tournament, along with AFCON and other tournaments coming around the corner as well. So, guys, make sure you stay tuned. Hope you all have a blessed day, and we will see you soon. Peace.